What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for being here. Everybody that's tuning in at this time, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. What a great win, right? I mean, little rocky to start, right? We're kind of fell behind early, weren't really hitting shots, but they corrected it. They righted the ship, and then it was just smooth sailings the rest of the way. I really love how the Lakers played this game, right? Took advantages of the advantages. I thought the defense was actually very solid, considering this Oklahoma City Thunder team. Look, the Lakers they're just a bad matchup for the Thunder. They are. It's why, like, out of all the teams we could play in the playoffs, like, they're the team I'm hoping for the most in the first round, because I just think, like, the Lakers are just the better matchup. I just think that they're, they have the defensive schemes worked out against OKC, right? Like, they seem to really kind of grasp what OKC's trying to do and have done a good job of, like, making the Thunder work, right? Like, the one game that they won this season, they basically just shot the lights out. And that's kind of, in my opinion, the only way I see the Thunder beating this Laker team is they just shoot the lights out 4 times, and I will take my chances with that. I just think the Lakers' size, their versatility, the way that they match up, I just think it's just a bad matchup for them. Right? They don't have the size and the physicality to match up with, like, an AD, stuff like that, And not just that, but they're a young team. Look, they're going to be very talented. They're going to be a very scary team for a long time, right? They're going to be one of those teams. They're going to be like, they remind me a lot of, like, the Thunder with, like, Harden, Westbrook, and Kevin Durant. I'm not saying that those guys are those guys, but the idea of, like, they were a very good young team. They make the postseason. You lose in the first round. Then you make the second round. Then you make the third round. And then you're in the finals. And it was like, man, if that team just stuck together, they could really win an NBA championship. And, they go and they let go of James Harden. Hopefully they don't make that mistake with this Thunder team. But you see, like, this Thunder team has the potential to be great. They're definitely going to be a very good regular season team year in and year out for a long time. But I really like this as, like, a favorable matchup. We really do a good job of, like, attacking and exploiting their weaknesses and their holes. And hopefully that if we have a postseason matchup, that continues to be the trend. But great all-around game, great effort. Guys really showed up. I love that we bounced back, right? I love that we're not letting you lose to the Nuggets. Sucks. It's tough, but you bounce right back. Right, that's what the Lakers need to do this season. You're going to lose games along the way, but what's the bounce back look like? Right? Are you able to just, hey, you know what? Let's dust it off. Let's get back to winning. Right? And now we got the Sacramento Kings coming up. In my opinion, Sacramento is a must-win game. Absolute must-win game. So we really need the Lakers to handle business. Sacramento absolutely sold. They were up like 20 or something like that going into the fourth, and just completely sold. I thought the game was over. Like, I had the Laker game playing on one of the TVs, and then I had this TV right here. I had the Bulls and Sacramento game on, and, like, they were down like 22 or whatever, something like that, going into the fourth, and I was like, all right, this game's over. So I turned that off, go and continue watching the Laker game, and then, like, I look and I'm like, oh, no way! I was like, the Chicago's winning, and they, like, outscored them like 38-16. There was like 40 seconds left, so I quickly turned this back on and watched the end of that game. So I am very thankful Sacramento sold. We needed that badly. So Sac sold. Teams are starting to lose. We need that. The Phoenix Suns, they're Devin Booker, he's expected to miss like 7 days or something like that. He's kind of day-to-day with that. Sacramento keeps falling apart and is sinking fast. And the Phoenix Suns, sticking with the Suns, Phoenix has the toughest schedule the rest of the way. Bradley Beal is in a model of injury or of health. Devin Booker's been in and out all season long, right? Like, that's 2 teams that we have a very good chance of overtaking. We got to keep pace against the Warriors. We got 2 games against Sacramento, I think, are absolute must-wins. You have 1 game against the Warriors, 2 games against the Warriors that I believe are absolute must-wins, and then 1 game against the Pelicans that I think is an absolute must-win. You handle business. You win those. Obviously, you need to win other games in between. You win at least those 5 games, right? I think the Lakers, you sprinkle in a couple wins here and there. I think the Lakers will be at least, in the conversation for the 6th seed with tiebreakers and stuff. I think we can get there. So I really like where we're positioned. Obviously, I'd love to be, in that top 4, right? Be one of those 4 teams battling for the 1 seed. But at the end of the day, as long as we get to the postseason, as long as we, end up getting that extra rest, ideally, I don't want to do the play, right? Look, if we get the 7th or 8th seed, fine. So be it. I'll take it. But ideally, I'd like to get into the playoffs, get that extra rest, not have to play any just tough matchups going into the postseason, playing extra games, wearing guys down. Give us the rest and let's go beat one of these teams. I keep saying it. I think every team but Denver, we just, for whatever reason, just can't beat Denver. I think part of it is mental. Part of it is just they are extremely talented. But match us up against any other team in the league, I will gladly take my chances. Gladly take my chances. I think we can beat anybody in this league. But anyway, let's dive into the box scores, and then we'll jump into all the super chats and all of the regular questions and stuff like that. Real quick, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. You guys know the drill. I appreciate it. Let's start with D-Lo. D'Angelo Russell, man, he was – that dude was next level. Man, that 4th quarter, he hit those 3 threes, that one where he just that should have been an and one. He was putting on a show out there. 9 of 17 from the field, 5 of 11 from 3, 3 of 5 from the foul line, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals? Man, he was having himself a steal day. I didn't know he had that many. I knew he had a couple, but I didn't know he had 4. 1 block, 3 turnovers. One of the things that I will kind of critique the Lakers on this game is the turnovers, right? Got to do a better job taking care of the basketball. You're not going to win many games having 20 turnovers, right? This was a bad matchup game. This is a game that you can win even with the 20 turnovers, but the top teams, the good teams, not that the Thunder aren't a good team, but again, matchups. Some of these other top teams, you're not going to beat having 20 turnovers. So we got to make sure we're doing our job. We got to make sure we're doing our part, locking down and taking care of the basketball. But D'Lo was spectacular, 26 points. Anthony Davis, 7 of 12, 12 rebounds, 24 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Doing Anthony Davis things, you love to see it. LeBron James, 7 of 14 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 19 points, nearly a triple-double. Austin Reaves, 6 of 8. 4 or 5, 1 steal, and actually did a good job of holding his own and playing defense this game, right? Again, we don't necessarily need these guys to be elite. Just be serviceable. Don't get killed every possession, right? Hold your own, stand up, move your feet, do the basics. So credit him. Rui had a little bit of a rough game, but it's all good. He also didn't play very many minutes. A lot of that was early fouls and stuff, but 3 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3, 7 points. Then you had Taurean Prince. Taurean Prince was hitting. Hopefully he can kind of get back in a rhythm. He struggled for the last few games pretty mightily, but it was nice to see him kind of have a nice little bounce back. 5, 7 from the field, 4, 6 from 3, 14 points, 6 rebounds, rebounding well, being aggressive. I liked the way we saw him play off the bench. And then outside of that, it was just kind of, piecing minutes. But again, great overall win, great team win by the Lakers. These are the type of wins that we need to see going forward. Our schedule doesn't lighten up. Our schedule doesn't get any easier. So gotta keep winning. Starts with Sacramento. Again, Sacramento, in my opinion, is an absolute must win. Absolute must win. So let's go get this win and against Sac. But let's dive into the chat here. Again, appreciate y'all. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. LeBron looked like he tried his absolute hardest on SD today. Hey, LeBron's been fantastic. Fantastic. Let's see. A team win. Yes, agreed. If D'Lo is hot, it's almost a sure win. Yeah. Like the Lakers stats when D'Lo scores like 17 or more is like insane. Let's see. He was ball hogging the whole 5 minutes. Talk about JHS. He'll be fine. Again, it's a rookie season. He only plays in garbage time. He's trying to show what he can do. Ladies and gentlemen, your prince has arrived. Also, D'Lo showed Ham how to stop benching him. Yeah, that could be FX. Absolute facts. Let's go beat the Kings and make the Bulls a loss hurt a little bit more. Yeah, they absolutely sold. That was huge for the Lakers. Huge. Let's see. Jovan Buha says Christie, saying Christie should play over Torian more. I completely disagree. I mean, I understand the idea. Like, I even talked briefly about Max Christie in a video earlier today where I was talking about, like, you know, should he get more minutes? Should he not necessarily saying he has to play heavy minutes over Torian, but just like in general, getting him more minutes, maybe even moving him in the starting unit. Like, he's just not, right? He's 21 years old, and you see it translate on the court sometimes. He's playing on pure raw talent, and he hasn't developed his grown man body. There's a lot of things. I don't want to go into it too heavy. If you want to hear my thoughts both ways on Max Christie, go check out that video because I did a whole breakdown of it. But just in general, like, I like Max Christie a lot. I think bare minimum he's going to be a premier 3-and-D guy in this league. I think best case scenario, he becomes like a legit two-way, you know, maybe all-star level guy. You know, sky's the limit for that kid. Again, he's 21 years old. But I don't think he's the answer right now. You know, I don't mind him getting spot minutes. I don't mind him getting things here and there, but I don't think he's the answer right now. Torian did his thing, absolutely. It's clear now, duck Denver at all costs. Anyone else could be with confidence. Yeah, I mean, Denver's the team. But the problem is you're probably going to have to play Denver at some point regardless. So, I mean, it's just when do you want to play them? D'Lo masterclass, absolutely. He put on a clinic. Don't even care about the shooting from D'Lo. I'm impressed by his defense. Have to give him credit. Yeah, he was fantastic. I've been talking and hyping up his defense all season. I mean, I have. I really like the way he's playing. Is he like elite defensively? No, but he's been very good. He's actually been very solid this year. I mean, he's playing the best defense of his career. He's just not like he has the tools. You know, he's 6'4", like with a 6'10" wingspan. You know, like he's the guy's got the size, the length, the tools, everything you could want for him to be a solid defensive guy. Again, I don't need him to be elite. Just be solid, right? Like today, guys were solid, and it translated. It showed. It looked good. Only team Lakers can't beat is the Nuggets. Agreed. Or at least right now, it's kind of like that. Guys, and shut the lights out. So yeah, definitely Vando. Agreed. Vando is very crucial. We need him back for the playoffs. D'Lo makes me so excited. Those consecutive threes, averaging 18 points a game this season with 1 month in there. Yeah, he's been phenomenal. He's having the best season of his career. He's just been dynamite for the Lakers. He's been very important. Now we own OKC FX. If Nuggets eliminate in the playoffs, then we win the championship. I mean, that's a very real possibility. I definitely buy that. Clippers we own. We clap. They every time now. Yeah. D'Lo trying to make a statement to Ham about the defense. I like it. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Best defense from AR all season, and D'Lo took last night's benching personal. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, right? D'Lo or Roston Reaves, I was very, very impressed and very happy with his defense. I thought he did a very good job on both sides of the basketball. Again, just be serviceable. Don't get beat off the dribble and through penetration every single possession. Just hold your own, move your feet. Just try to make things decent. Right? Like last year, he wasn't great defensively. He wasn't elite defensively, but he was serviceable, and we were able to keep him on the court. Need that to continue. We need this defensive performance tonight to continue to translate. I have my concerns that part of the defense was just the matchup, but we'll see. Timberwolves are tougher, but we can beat them. I think we can beat Minnesota too. Look, Minnesota would be a tough matchup because they got good size, the best defense in the league. Like they got good versatility. Anthony Edwards is a problem, but I like that matchup. I think we can win it. I don't like. I think it'll be tough, right? I think that's a matchup that could go either way. But I do like Minnesota's the one team that, like, if you look at, you're like, man, they match up really well against like everybody. I just think their lack of experience is going to be like their biggest downfall, right? If push comes to shove, tight game, are they going to be able to close down the stretch compared to some of these veteran teams that have kind of been there and done that? AR2, both play good defense today. Yes, agreed. Lakers just excel against smaller teams. Yep. Nuggets are so composed and polished. Yeah, they know what they want to do. They execute it beautifully, and they're the defending champions for a reason. Need to go 3-2 in our next 5, but win both Kings games. Yes, agreed. Got to win the Kings games. Absolutely got to win the Kings game. AR and D'Lo hate passing to each other. Yeah, it's usually how it goes, right? Yeah. Oh, we need this one. We need that one. I think we can beat Denver, but avoid them at all costs, even if it forcefully being in the play-in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, I would prefer the rest if we can get the rest. Because, look, you give me a healthy LeBron and AD in the playoffs, even against Denver, I'll take my chances. And you're probably going to have to go through them regardless. So I would rather, I'd rather get the rest personally, because you're preying on somebody else to handle Denver. And, you're going to end up having to play Denver anyway. And, like, the longer you get into the postseason, the more likely you're worn down. LeBron and AD, like, give me them. Yes, they would be fresh, but so would the Lakers, right? I would like that. But again, time will tell. I bet you mentioned the defense on Shea by Reaves. I talked about it. Talked about how great Reaves. That was one of the first things I talked about. Was how good Reaves and the team defense, D'Lo, everybody's defense was fantastic. They did a really good job, and are just they really seem to know how to defend that team. Defense was MVP. Facts. Again, play this way every game. The problem isn't the talent. The problem isn't this team. That's why I believe that we can really do something in the postseason. The problem is the lack of consistency. The problem is, what team are we going to get tonight? And they've been much better. Don't get me wrong. They've been a lot better the last month, but still, it's definitely a real question. It's definitely a real concern where it's like, we can't have these inconsistencies, especially come the postseason. We just can't. Let's see. Reaves is still a below average defender. Yeah, but again, we just need him to be serviceable, right? Just be serviceable. It's underrated when OKC is the top one in the West. Yes, very solid win. Every matchup in the West will be difficult. Denver is the most overwhelming difficult matchup, though. Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Western Conference playoffs are going to be fire. I think every top to bottom, 1 through 8, I think is just going to be fantastic, right? And I think you can make an argument for all 8 teams. If I really took the time, I could probably make an argument for the all 10 teams. All 10 teams currently in the play-in, 1 through 10, I could probably make an argument for to make it out of the West and win the championship. A very convincing argument. So, I mean, the playoffs are going to be fantastic. It's just, I like the Lakers and how they match up against everybody outside of Denver. And I think a lot of the issues with Denver is just I think it's a part mental. I really do. I think part of it is mental. We're 1.5 games behind the 6 seed. Yep. Got to keep winning. Got to keep climbing. We need teams to keep losing, and we're in it. We'll be in the thick of it. Austin is a starter. I do not want the matchup with the Timberwolves. They're the tallest team in the league. Yeah, but I like our matchup. Timberwolves match up well against everybody. And again, you're going to have to go through some of these teams. You're going to have to kind of pick your poison, right? Let's see. All the talk about OKC being legit contenders and the Lakers wedgied up Andrew and Tyler, I don't know about Phoenix. If we don't have Vando, we'll be forced to go bucket for bucket with them. And if that happens, I just feel like we'll lose every time. The difference is we have multiple ways to score, and they are strictly jump shooting, right? Like, and how many jump shooting teams actually have won a championship? How many jump shooting teams usually advance? Like, usually teams have multiple ways to beat you. Now, I'm not saying that Devin Booker and Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant can't get to the basket. Of course they can, but they are primarily jump shooters. And so you make things difficult. Kevin Durant, you get into his chest, you make things that I'm not saying we're going to run through Phoenix, but I just think push comes to shove. They have to answer us. And like, game on the line, we need a stop. Even without Vanderbilt, I trust us to get the stops down the stretch over Phoenix. We've proven that we can. We've proven that Phoenix just has a hard time against us at times, right? I know that they've beaten us a couple times, but again, they're a good team. Like, I'm not saying the Lakers win that in 5, but I think Lakers win that 6 or 7. Like, again, I'm not saying Phoenix can't beat the Lakers. Of course they can. They got Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. Like, that's not fun. But I trust the Lakers to handle business against that. I just think our size, our versatility, our depth, I think will be problems in a 7-game series. They have no answer for LeBron. They have no answer for Anthony Davis. I think we'll be good in that regard. And then our guard play. OKC was on a back-to-back. Yes, correct. I can't believe Darvin Ham isn't playing max. He should definitely be getting some of Austin Reaves' minutes. Austin Reaves was fantastic this game. Like, yeah, if this was a game where Austin Reaves was struggling, I could see that. Like, hey, throw Max out there and give him a shot. But I'm the first one to be critical of Austin Reaves, but he was great this game. You got to give praise where praise is due, right? When Austin Reaves plays the right way, I'm the first one to praise him. When he plays poorly, first one to criticize him, as with everybody, right? I've criticized D'Lo, I've criticized everybody, right? If LeBron has a bad game, criticize LeBron, I've criticized AD. Still a great win against a good team. Yes, correct. The Kings losing is massive because their schedule is really hard and they waste it on easy teams. Yes, agreed. Good news. Kings lose. Let's see. I don't see how we play Phoenix in the first round. We're not going to play. We won't play Phoenix first. It's possible we play them in the play-in. It would be a deeper round and hell of a series. Yes. All we need to do is keep Kevin under 33 each game. Easier said than done, though. I'm not going to lie. I have a feeling Phoenix gets bounced first round. They very well could. Again, like, if they play see, the thing is, like, if they play Minnesota or OKC, I actually think that they have a good chance to beat them, right? Just because, again, experience goes a long way in the postseason. Right? And when push comes to shove, right, games on the line, you got like a tie game with like 2 minutes to go. Like, who are you trusting on Minnesota, right? Is it Anthony Edwards? Is it Karl Anthony Towns? Is it Mike Conley? Right? Like, Anthony Edwards probably is. Well, with Phoenix, you have 3 guys that are clear-cut, been there, done that. Kevin Durant's sake has won championships. The reason I like the matchup against, like, with the Lakers is because the Lakers have that experience too, right? The Lakers have a LeBron James who's been there and done that, has more experience than anyone in the league. Anthony Davis has been there and done that. Won hit game winners in the postseason, right? Like, I trust, like, I think the experience balance out compared to some of these other teams. That's the other thing too. Stake is high. Coming in hot, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Max has been better than Cam since training camp. I like Max. The reason Cam is getting the nod is just his size and versatility, right? Max Christie, as offensively, yes, he provides more, but defensively, right, he's basically defending 1 through 3. He's not as long, he's not as big, he's not as imposing. Where Cam Reddish, the idea with him is that he can switch on pretty much anybody on the court, right? So you just get more versatility with him. And without Jared Vanderbilt, you kind of need Cam Reddish. But the problem is Cam Reddish isn't there yet. Cam Reddish has been better defensively than Max Christie, but offensively, Max Christie gives you the offense with the defense. Look, I think that there is an argument to be made to get Max Christie a little more run, a little more burn. I just think it depends on who you're playing, the matchups. I think it depends on what you need him to do in any particular moment. I don't mind them like kind of trickling Christie and Reddish, right? Like, let's say you're going to give Christie and Reddish 20 minutes total, right? Like between the two of them, like divvy it up 10 and 10, right? Or like whichever guy is bringing it more tonight, like that's the guy you stick with. Um, I don't know. I think that's what it what it boils down to. But appreciate you. Thank you, High Stakes. Let's see. Uh, I wouldn't mind playing in. We beat the Thunder in 5. Yeah, I think we could beat the Thunder in 5. I think that's very realistic. Um, let's see. Let's go Lakers. Great win. Absolute great win. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something to meet. Love seeing the back and forths. Man, I'd love to face them in the first round. Agree. I just think it's a very favorable matchup. Like genuinely, I think we match up with them just beautifully. Let's see. I've never seen this level of defense from AR. AR was getting after it. AR was getting after it. Denver is big. We seem to beat smaller teams, no problem. But it seems like Denver, we have issues, possibly because they are huge. Michael Porter Jr. is a power forward on most teams, and he is their small forward. Jokic is 287. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's just, again, it's a bad matchup. It's a tough matchup for us. And, we just got to figure it out. You got to get over the hump. It's one of those things like I wouldn't be surprised, like, if we say we got into the postseason and, we lose game 1 and it's like, here we go. And the Lakers win game 2. I wouldn't be shocked if, like, the Lakers get the win and then that's it. Like, they just boom, right? Because sometimes you just need you get in this like lull of like man, we just like, how do we beat these guys, right? And then you beat that team. You take off the. I mean, look at like the Clippers, right? Like we could not beat the Clippers to save our lives. We beat them one time and that's it. Like floodgates are open. We're smacking them all the time. Now, I think Denver is a better team than the Clippers, and I'm not saying the Lakers like would win in 5 in that series, but I do think all of a sudden you would see that shift of like, oh, okay, wait a minute, the Lakers may be like the conversation just changes because right now the conversation is like the Lakers have no shot. They just can't get over the hump with Denver. You finally get over that hump, all of a sudden the conversation can change rather quickly. I'm just disappointed they let it get so close at the end. I mean, I would have called it. It was garbage time. You're talking about like the end of the bench guys. Like that always happens. Like almost always, right? Like unless the team's up 50, right? Like more times than not, yeah, you're up 20 something, you win by 12. That's usually how it works. Like I don't really. That's not concerning to me when we put in basically our G League guys and they lost and they got outscored by 10. Like I'm not really. I that's like the last concern personally Ghost. But appreciate you. Only way Denver loses is when they lose to themselves, which happens a decent amount of times this year. Yeah, I think it's so much like the regular season. It's like kind of like I don't think they're as concerned about the regular season. The West is chaos. Duck Denver and see what happens. The West is absolute chaos. Look, I mean, if we can, ideally, we get to the 6 seed, Denver gets the 1 seed, and then, we end up winning, and we, or what do it have to be, the 2 seed or whatever, for us to play them in the conference finals, right? Ideally, that's the best case scenario, right? To where it's like, okay, we don't see them till the conference finals, and then we got to match up. My thing is like, if you have, like, I don't want to play an extra game, risk LeBron getting hurt or AD getting hurt, knock on wood, or guys getting tired, and you got to play that extra game. You got to get over that extra hump, and it's just like that wear and tear of the regular season, and now you got to go in the postseason. Now you got that wear and tear again, and now you're just playing extra games than everyone else, and like you're going to have a grueling matchup no matter who you play in the West because it's going to be tough. My thing is like if you can't beat Denver, then you're not the best team, right? Like if the Lakers, if let's say, let's say the Clippers beat Denver, right? Like let's say they just have a great series and they beat Denver, and Lakers play the Clippers. Lakers beat the Clippers. Lakers win the NBA championship, get to the finals, win the NBA championship, right? To me, you can't say like, oh, well, they didn't play Denver. Well, that's not the Lakers' fault. That's Denver's fault. Like, boo-hoo, right? But I just, again, like if naturally you can avoid Denver, then fine. You naturally avoided Denver. But like to go, oh man, if we like, let's say it gets down to the final game of the season, to go, oh, if we win this game, we get the 6th seed and we play Denver. Or if we just throw this game and lose this game, then we end up as like the 7th seed and now we're in the play-in. I mean, that's just not good. And anything could happen in the play-in. You're talking one game, right? Like let's say you play Phoenix in the play-in. They shoot the lights out, they beat you, right? Now it's one and done. So now you play 2 extra games, right? And you're still going to end up having to play Denver inevitably anyway, right? And that's if you even get out of the first round because you just played 2 extra games. And that's even if you get out of the play-in, right? Like what happens if you play Phoenix in the first round and then you end up playing like the Warriors in the second and Steph and Clay and everyone just shoots the lights out, right? And now you end up missing the playoffs entirely, right? Because you wanted to avoid Denver, right? Like to me, it's just like, if it can happen naturally, let it happen naturally. But I don't want to like force the issue to where it's like, oh man, we need to avoid Denver at all costs. You got to go, all roads lead through Denver anyway. You beat if the Lakers beat Denver, imagine how high their confidence would be. And imagine what the Lakers would probably do the rest of the way. Like if the Lakers beat Denver, I will be extremely confident in them winning the championship because they basically absolved all of their demons at that point. I just don't like the idea of like, let's just avoid it. Let's see, for sure, risking playing and playing OKC or the Wolves. You're saying you would want to for sure risking the play-in? I don't. Again, and then it's sports, man. Too many things happen, right? Like the basketball gods do not frown, do not look kindly on that. More times than not, when teams do things to avoid teams, they end up biting it. And I don't know. I've never been a fan of like, oh, let's try to cheat the system. More times than not, it blows up in your face. And now you miss the playoffs. I mean, you also got to think of the long term. Like, what are the trickle down repercussions if the Lakers miss the playoffs entirely? Does LeBron all of a sudden change his mind and want to leave? And now you're rebuilding. I mean, again, there's just so many things that could happen. And now you miss the postseason entirely. And it's like, I would rather lose in the first round of Denver than lose in the play-in. Right? At least we made it to the playoffs. We lost to Denver. You can hang your hat on that and just say, you know what? Denver's them, right? And if Denver wins the championship again, you go, man, you lost to the best team in the league once again. No shame in that. Me personally, I'm just not a fan. I don't like teams. I think it's silly. I would if OKC and the Wolves are the 1 and 2. Yeah, but again, there's not even a guarantee in that, right? Like I appreciate and understand the idea of like, I get OKC and the Wolves are just a better matchup, right? I prefer to play them too. I'm not a fan of let's risk missing the playoffs entirely just so we get a better matchup. Right? It's one thing if you're like let's say we were fighting for the 5th and 6th seed, right? And it's like, okay, if we win our final game, then we would play, we play Denver in the first round. But if we lose our final game, we get the 6th seed and we play Oklahoma City. Maybe I'd be a little more willing to do that. I mean, I still, again, aren't really big. I'm not big on like, hey, let's just tank for matchups. Like, you got to go through guys anyway. And matchups are a big thing, right? Matchups are very important in the postseason. I agree and I understand that. But I just think there's a big difference between, hey, we either get the 5th or 6th seed and guaranteed to be the playoffs, and we would rather play OKC than the Nuggets, and we get to rest LeBron and AD, right? And a difference between if we lose this game, now we're in the play-in, oh, we just lost to the Phoenix Suns. Oh, we just lost to the Warriors, and now we're out of the playoffs. And we didn't even have a chance against Denver, right? Because you never even played them. At least if we play Denver, we have a chance, right? I would rather give me the chance. I'd rather take the chance than the risk of now you lost everything. I can't personally get behind that. Again, I understand the sentiment. I understand the idea, but yeah. Bro, Tyler, I love you, but if Christie's ceiling was anywhere near Paul George, we would have known by now. No, it's his second season. Paul George wasn't anywhere close to Paul George till what? His like 6th year, 5th year? Right? Like Paul George, you gotta remember, Paul George was like third fiddle on the Indiana Pacers. Like, look again, Paul George was nowhere close to Max Christie is better now than Paul George was year 2. Like, as far as like the natural skill set. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be that, but I'm talking about like the legit two-way, can hit tough shots, can do about anything. Again, I think he's an undersized. I just think he's an undersized, or he has the potential to be an undersized Paul George. But like, look here, let's look up. So so he didn't become Paul George till year 4 is when he started to really kind of become Paul George. And then he got hurt and then took back and became Paul George again. Right? Like he went and averaged 7.8 points and 12.1 points his rookie year as a starter and played 30 minutes a game. Like, Max Christie averages more than that when he starts and when he actually gets those kind of minutes. Like, again, I'm not saying he's like lock it in, he's going to be that, but Paul George warmed the bench for Danny Granger. I mean, not technically. I mean, he was the back seat for Danny Granger. But I mean, his rookie year, didn't he start every game he played his rookie year? His second year, not his rookie year. His rookie year, he rode the bench, right? His second year, I think he started every year. Hang on. Let me pull that back up. So his rookie year, he started 19 games out of 61. And then, he started every game after that. So, I mean, his rookie year, he was riding the bench for Danny Granger. But year 2, he started, played 30 minutes a game, and averaged 12 points. So, again, it's the whole, we don't know. I mean, think of how many players weren't who they were year 2. Right? Like, no one thought Giannis and Jokic were going to be Giannis and Jokic now in year 2. Right? I mean, Jokic was so disrespected. The man didn't even get, like, TV coverage. He was drafted during a commercial. Giannis was looked at as, like, a big project. Like, again, like, don't underestimate some of these young guys. You've seen the flashes from Max Christie. That's what you want to see. You want to see the little flashes. How does he look in certain moments, certain situations, both sides of the basketball? Like, he's already an above average on-ball defender, right? Like, he's good. He's very good. Paul George was a late bloomer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he wasn't Paul George year 2, like Christie is. Shea was clamped. Only was able to get up 13 shots. Yeah, the Lakers did an excellent job on him. Austin Reeves, D'Lo, all those guys did fantastic. The Bulls did us a huge favor. I mean, dude, the Kings sold, and they sold hard. If we beat the Nuggets, we still got to play the Celtics in the final. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics don't make the finals. Like, again, every year Boston, it's their year, and every year they find a way to just mess it up. If I had to bet on who's coming out of the East, definitely Boston. I actually like how we match up against Boston. Like, Boston loves to just beat themselves, right? That's why we beat them without LeBron and AD. They literally just beat themselves. They just, instead of being aggressive, attacking the basket, capitalizing on mismatches, dominating the right way, they decided, let's just shoot ourselves out of the game. They do that a lot. When they're hitting, you get a result like OKC or like the Warriors game, right? When they're not, you get a result like the Lakers game. like I'm not really worried about Boston. Is Boston? Do I think is Boston better than us? I believe so, but I just don't like. What does Jason Tatum look like? Right, Jason Tatum is known to just completely disappear. Now, how can Kristaps Porzingis hold up? Right? Do they just continue to shoot 43s a game in the post? Like, again, don't be shocked if they end up just completely falling apart. Let's see. Why can't the Lakers come out with better starts? They're kind of sloppy in the first half. It was more so like the first half of the first quarter. I mean, didn't we have a lead going into the second, and then kind of just took care of business, and we were up? It was just the start, little like just getting in a rhythm, I guess. Um, I would love to beat the Nuggets in the first round. Don't get me wrong, I'm very worried. I'm very worried, but about the Nuggets. But again, to me, give me the chance. Just give me the shot. Give me. I'd rather take the chance than anything else. Yeah, Lakers definitely have OKC's number. They're just a bad matchup. No one is worried about the Celtics. Jimmy Butler has shown how to beat the Celtics. You let them do ISO ball and they fall apart. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, Boston loves to beat themselves. Loves to beat themselves. Jaylen Brown goes left. Lakers can't beat the Celtics yet. Let's see. The Celtics aren't the smartest team down the stretch and take dumb shots at crucial moments. Agreed. And they might be the only team that has like a coach worse than ours, or arguably worse than ours. Let's see. If it's the East, we would be in the finals. Let's worry about that then. Yeah. We gotta, like I said, roads go through Denver. We gotta worry about that. If we play Denver, I'm turning off notifications on the NBA app for 2 weeks. That's great. Do y'all see Tatum being a future Laker? I wouldn't be shocked. He loves Kobe. You know, he's a guy that, again, like we have seen enough through Lakers history to know like you can't rule out any star. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. Like, would I bet on Tatum being a Laker at some point? No. But would it surprise me? No. Right? Like, again, 10 years ago, did anyone think LeBron was going to be a Laker? Absolutely not. 10 years ago, did anyone think AD was going to be a Laker? Absolutely not. Right? Like, when Shaq was in Orlando, did anyone think Shaq was going to be a Laker? Absolutely not. Right? Like, Kareem, right? Like, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, right? Like, there's so many, Dwight Howard even. Like, the list goes on and on of guys that, like, you never thought would be a Laker, right? And guess what? All of a sudden, they're a Laker. So I just don't believe you can rule it out, but I wouldn't bet on it. I've watched Boston a lot recently, and my goodness, that team is so beatable. They're not as good as you think overall. They cannot close games at all, and Tatum is not good enough when I'm not like too concerned. Like, is Boston the best team in the league? Yes. They just don't play like it at times. Right? Like, I mean, if you're talking about like stacking teams up, Boston is ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. And like all the numbers back it up, the eye test at times back it. Like, when Boston's playing the right way, you're just like, how does anyone beat this team? But the sad thing is like as many times as they play the right way, like they are like almost as consistently inconsistent as the Lakers at times. They just have more overall talent. Tatum will get a higher contract if he stays in Boston. Dinwiddie competed defensively, yes. Yeah, the playoffs are going to be insane. I can't wait for the playoffs. As long as the Lakers are in there. No, I can't wait for the playoffs regardless. But D'Lo cashed my parlay. I turned 11 into 900 off a 5-leg. Congratulate. Good stuff. Good hit. Good hit. Let's see. Rui does play well in Towns. He does a really good job with it. That's why we lose against Denver, not talent. Man, this was a good win. Agreed. Let's see. Honestly, I think New York City might take it all this year. if everyone gets healthy. So I have said on As It Stands Sports, talked about this on As It Stands Sports. Um, I actually think the Knicks healthy might be the second best team in the East. Like genuinely. Like they are stacked. My concerns with the Knicks is what Julius Randle do you get in the playoffs? I mean, last year he was like unplayably bad. It was almost like he was a different player. He was that bad. You're just like, who is this? Like, so what Julius Randle do you get in the playoffs? And will they be able to like hold up defensively against like the bigger top teams, right? But I mean, look, the Knicks have been sinking fast lately, but look at them before injuries. They were just running through everybody. That team is tough, tough. Um, so yeah, and you know Jalen Brunson's going to show up in the postseason. I'm not sold on Jalen Brunson being your best player on a contender. Like I don't. Like I think that they need it. Like if they had like Joel Embiid, I think that they'd be the best team in the league. You know, or somebody like I'm not necessarily it has to be him, but you know, like a guy that can be your number one option, where like Jalen Brunson can still kind of do his thing, and everyone else kind of falls suit. But like you know, you have that guy who can just take over and be the best player on the team. Um, let's see, we beat them twice before, if I'm correct, and we're on a back to and we were on a back to back. Yes, agreed. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about the injury factor for them. Yes, yes. And people are forgetting like the Thunder are a very young team, right? Like we're not playing some like old team where it's like um let's see. Tyler, last time I checked, you said D'Lo was 6'5". Yeah, I said 6'4", 6'5". Like, yeah. Um, let's see. Cam is 3 inches taller than Max and has a 6-inch longer wingspan. Yeah, exactly. Which is why he gets the. It's why he gets the nod. Um, that's what it is. Let me see. Hang on. Why isn't it? Come on. Sorry. Technical difficulty. Hang on. There we go. Come on. What's going on? There we go. Darn it. Sorry, this thing's like spazzing out on me. There we go. Here we go. We're back. It's a hot take. Let's see. How do you do the 199 super chat? It doesn't work for me. I believe like if you click, there's like the little like dollar symbol. I think it's on like the bottom left, and then like click that, and then like a prompt will come up, and then it'll ask you like the denomination, and then that will play it out. I don't know. Like I know like people have said like it doesn't like pop up sometimes. I don't know. Andrew could probably tell you. Andrew probably knows. Oh, that's probably what he meant by like gotta scroll. It's gotta scroll it to the right. And it's different. Like if you're doing it on your phone, like the process is different than like if you're doing it on a computer or you're doing it on like a tablet. So yeah, it just depends on what you're using. But usually it's like I think it's like bottom left. You see like the little dollar sign. Click that. That'll prompt you to what you want. And then it brings up the little prompt for like your text, and then you like submit it. But I would appreciate that. Don't feel like you have to, but I always appreciate super chats. They help me out a ton. Let's see. I was literally just saying that if we beat Denver once, we'll be good. Yeah, I really do think that. Like, again, you'd be surprised what getting a win does to your confidence and how much things can change when you just feel like you can't get over that hump, and then all of a sudden, like that light switches. You know. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Um, I prefer the 6 seed regardless. Everything can end in the play-in, man, especially with the teams in there. Yeah, that's my point exactly. Again, I understand the idea. Like, I understand, like, what Andrew's getting at. I don't. To me, it's not worth the risk. Like, I would rather just give me the chance, right? I'd rather have the puncher's chance than, than running the risk and, like, it's now you don't even get the chance, right? Like, to me, it's like you believe in the Lakers or you don't. Is kind of how I feel about that. Like, I believe in the Lakers. Am I confident in them beating Denver? No, but I believe in the Lakers. So, like, let's go. Let's get it. Let's see. LeBron wanted AD. Pelinka got AD. Results in a chip. Pelinka ain't great, but he's not bad either. I actually like Pelinka a lot. Like, all the things that Pelinka gets knocked for weren't even his choice, right? Like, he goes and win. Like, gets him and Magic together get LeBron. Then he goes and trades for Anthony Davis. They win a championship immediately. Then he upgrades the bench and, like, our rotation. And we probably go back to back if Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt, but AD gets hurt. And then LeBron James and Anthony Davis wanted Russell Westbrook. Rob Pelinka already had it worked out to where he was getting Buddy Hield. And DeMar DeRozan said in like 3 interviews last year that he believed that the deal was already done for him to go to the Lakers, that he already thought he was a Laker. And so Rob Pelinka already had a deal finalized, ready to go with Sacramento. And then Jeannie makes the phone call and says, hold off. I need you to trade for Russell Westbrook, because LeBron James and Anthony Davis ran to Jeannie and said, we want Russell Westbrook and we'll do whatever it takes. Like, I can't blame Rob Pelinka for that. Like, that's not Rob Pelinka's fault. And then what happens? Rob Pelinka gets all the backlash. You have to fix this. And what does he do? He fixes it, and the Lakers are in the conference finals. Like, what do you want the man to do? And Rob Pelinka would have fixed it earlier when he had the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner trade done, finalized, ready to go. And Jeannie says no. How is it Rob Pelinka's fault? Like, what has Rob Pelinka done that's been bad? Like, he's turned water into wine like several times. Like, I like Rob Pelinka a lot. I think he's done a very good job given the circumstances. Like, how many times do owners intervene with, like, what the GM is doing? Almost never. And Jeannie's done it like 3-4 times during his tenure. Let's see. There's too much foreplay with the West Conference standings. Would be hard to pick and choose a seeding. Yeah, which is the problem. There's no guarantee, right? Like, it could literally come down to the last game of the season. Lakers could, like, lose the game just to, like, try to avoid Denver, and then still end up playing Denver by getting the 7th or 8th seed. Like, literally. Like, so then what are you supposed to do? Like, let's say it comes down to the final game. Say Denver gets the 1 seed, right? Like, or let's say the 2 seed. Let's call it the 2 seed. All right. Are the Lakers supposed to now throw the play-in game? Right? Like, so, like, how far down do we go? Right? Like, so let's say the Lakers do avoid, like, they're like, okay, well, if Denver wins the final game, then, like, and Denver could look at it as like, okay, well, like, hey, we have the Lakers number, let's play the Lakers, right? Like, there's just so many factors that, like, you could try to avoid Denver and still end up playing Denver. It's like, how far do you go, right? Like, so now Denver, like I said, they end up being the 2 seed, and it's like, okay, well, if you win the first in-season tournament game, well, then now you play Denver in the first round. So what? Are you supposed to purposely lose that? And now you're in a one-and-done game? Like, I just get to the 6th seed. If you play Denver, you play Denver. If you don't, you don't, right? And you just deal with it. You take it as you may. If you lose to Denver in the first round, then you're probably going to lose regardless, right? Obviously, I want as much Laker basketball as possible, but we're the Lakers. We're not another team. Like, I'm very happy, thankful, and it was great that the Lakers made the conference finals, but that wasn't like a super successful season, right? Like, you can make the justification of, like, oh man, like, given the circumstances of the year, the Lakers had success, but by Lakers standards, that wasn't a successful season. It is championship or bust. the Lakers lose in the first round or the third round, they still didn't win the championship, right? Like, we're championship or bust, right? So my thing is like, if you lose to Denver in the first round, you lose to them in the third round. Now, obviously, from a player standpoint, from a fan standpoint, I would rather them lose in the third round than the first. But again, Lakers standards, championship or bust. Are we competing for championships or are we not? If we're competing for championships, then you probably have to go through Denver regardless. Right? There's just too many circumstances and too many things that have to unfold for you to maybe luck out. And you still might not ever do that. But all right, what's next? Come on. Why does this keep like freezing, man? It's driving me crazy. D'Lo carrying the Lakers to the playoffs again. He's been fantastic. He's just, man, that dude has been playing out of his mind. Let's see. None of that matters by the. Come on, what is going on with this, man? None of that matters. By the end of the season, Lakers will be the 6th or 7th seed to face either the Wolves or OKC. Nuggets will be the first. They very well could be. They very well could be. Let's see. No, Christie isn't even close to year 2 Paul George. Way different era. By year 3, Paul George was, but again, Max Christie isn't even in year 3. Like, we don't even know what what will Max Christie be next year? Yeah, like Paul George was pedestrian his second year. Like, he was literally pedestrian. Like, I'm not saying he was bad. Like, he shot a good percentage. He was solid, but he wasn't Paul George that we know. Right? Like, and different eras. I mean, this was 10 years ago. Like, it wasn't that far different. See, Max Christie. Let's see what all his true shootings are. Again, Paul George was just a guy on Indiana, like, that had a bunch of promise. And then Granger was in and out, and he was good. So literally, Max Christie year 2 has played 16.6 minutes compared to 30 minutes for Paul George, and is averaging 5 points. So their stat line and percentages are nearly identical, literally nearly identical. Look, I'm not saying he will be. I'm saying best case scenario, absolute best case scenario. He's a smaller PG. Worst case scenario, I think he's just a legit 3-and-D guy. Shea would have a nightmare against us in the playoffs. Yeah, I really like the Lakers' odds and the way they stack against them. Tim was ripping up Cam Reddish after that Nuggets game. My God, deep fried out of him. It was so satisfying to watch. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Let's see. Boston couldn't stop first option Austin Reaves and friends. They not beating us if we healthy. Harry Giles is a winner now. Yeah, right. Loves to beat themselves. Yeah. Let's see. Nowhere close to young Paul Gothi. It's not just looking at his numbers. I watched Paul George's entire career. Like, Paul George, don't get me wrong, Paul George was very good, but he was nowhere near the Paul George he was. And he was like the fourth option on that team. Right? Like, again, and he started, there's just so many other factors that went into that. bro, Paul George was at a completely different level. Don't sleep on the 76ers once Embiid comes back, and the Bucks are on fire right now. The Bucks, I could see turning around. I have like zero faith in the Sixers. Like the problem is Joel Embiid is like proven year in and year out, like that there's gonna be a stretch where he just completely disappears. Let's see. Will DeMar DeRozan be a Laker? Possibly. I mean, Lakers would have to it would have to be via a sign and trade, but you never know. Anything can happen. In a summer league season, y'all need to watch Paul George in his second summer league season. You would think that's LeBron Miles. Did you watch Max Christie this past summer league season? Max Christie literally got whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, in any way he wanted. Like, dude, the guy was ridiculous. Again, I'm not saying people are taking it too literal, right? Like, let's wait and see. I'm saying best case scenario. Like, what is a pro comparison, right? We all do the pro comparison. He may end up, like I said, his best case scenario, or I think his worst case scenario is he's like an OG on an Ubi. That could be the reality too, right? But let's not pretend like Max Christie is a bum out here compared to Paul George. Like, Paul George was very good, don't get me wrong. But we have yet to see Max Christie get anywhere close to the role or opportunity that Paul George got those seasons. And Max Christie's played very well. Let's see. Look, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he becomes an OG on a newbie, let's say, right? Like a premier 3-and-D guy, that's fine. Like, not everyone has to be a superstar. But I'm saying you're seeing all the signs with Max Christie, the difficult shot making, the ability to pull up in transition, the ability to attack and finish through contact, the ability to shoot pretty much anywhere on the court, the lockdown defense, the ability to play both sides of the basketball, right? The IQ and the ability to make plays for others, right? Reading the floor, reacting, right? You're seeing the raw natural talent. The difference is Paul George is 6'8", 6'9". He's just bigger, right? So that doesn't, again, like Max Christie probably will never be PG, like prime PG, just because PG is just bigger. But I'm talking about like the similarities as far as like that two-way versatile wing that can play multiple positions on the floor. Be it like, who else can I compare him to, right? Like that is like that kind of thing. Like Paul George is like, where does he rank? He's not top 5. He's not top 10. He's not top 15. So he's like what, top 25, maybe top 30? Like, that's not like, I'm not comparing him to Giannis. Like, I'm comparing him to like, can he be a top 25 guy in the league? Possibly. He's 21 years old, right? He's extremely young. He has a long way to go, right? And Paul George was the same age and trajectory, right? Year 2, Paul George was 21 years old, right? And so Max Christie is technically younger. He's younger than Paul George was by like almost a year, right? Max Christie just turned 21. So if anything, you can make Max Christie has a head start. So again, I'm not saying like, oh, lock him in. He's going to be prime LeBron. Sorry, trying to find. There we go. Oh, come on. What is going on? Man, I really hope the Lakers go center searching next season. No more guards for a while. We got enough. We need to look for a center. Big man going to be in free agency next season. Yes, agreed. Got to get some big men. JHS All-Star next year, bro. Nah. He's got a road ahead of him. True, Randall is unpredictable. Giles is top 5%. Relax. Okay, I'm talking about a 20-year-old kid. I'm not talking about some 25-year-old. Let's see, has all-star potential. Jamal Murray has never made. So if you go back, watch those videos, I said that I don't believe Austin Reaves will ever make an all-star. I said he could play to an all-star level. I said if Austin Reaves averaged 25, if Austin Reaves got the shot attempts, he'd be a 25-5-5 guy this year. Like if he averaged basically the same amount of shot attempts based on his percentage, he'd be 25-5-5 this year. Like that's all-star level. Is it not? Like, is that Could you make an all-star on 25, 5, and 5? Absolutely. The thing is that the NBA, the Western Conference, is just so guard heavy that he's probably never going to make it. Now you do get the Lakers bump, but to think Austin Reaves, if he averaged 25, 5, not playing the defense and stuff the way he's playing this year, but just purely offensive production and his versatility, to think he can't be even a 25 and 5 guy, which would be excellent, right? Like, it's not unfathomable. Like you're acting like I'm saying like, oh, Austin Reaves is going to be Jordan. Like, think of all the guys that have made all-stars over the history of the NBA and have played to an all-star level. Like, that's not that uncommon, especially in today's NBA. That's not uncommon at all for guys to play to an all-star level. AR starting to make threes, which is huge. If he can start consistently making threes, it opens up so much more. What teams have the best chance of beating the Nuggets? For me, I think it's the T-Wolves. T-Wolves are the very first team that came to my mind. The Timberwolves are the very first team that came to my mind. They have the size. They have the perimeter defense. They match up very well and could give Denver a lot of struggles. Outside of that, it's tough. As far as like the Western Conference teams, like, I don't think OKC just has no chance, in my opinion. Clippers, they do, like, if everyone's healthy, the Clippers, I could see potentially beating them because they got the firepower. They do have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, so they should be able to kind of keep Jamal Murray in check, or ideally should be able to. But I don't believe in the Warriors or the Mavs personally. I just don't. Could any team beat them? Like, yeah, sure. But I think like teams that realistically have a shot, it's tough. Let's see. Derek Lively will average 20 a day. Mavs Clippers would be that'd be a fun matchup, especially the way Luka loves to play against the Clippers. Oh man. I think Pelinka is great, but Genie busts and Ham mess it up for him. Yeah. Again, I mean, you can only do what the owner will allow you to do. Right? You could have the best deal in the world on the table. So Genie does have final say with everything, yeah. Dorian Finney-Smith would have been great. I think Mavs are too small too. I do. Pelinka is guaranteed a job since he was Kobe's agent. Genie wouldn't fire him for anyone. Yeah, but I mean, he's doing a good job. Like, if he was doing a poor job, then I would be like, yeah, come on, he's got to go. Denver Lakers, if we make it, Clippers, Dallas, Wolves, Phoenix. Captain Crunch, do you think Ham is a good coach? I do not. I don't buy him. Tyler, I disagree. Rob shouldn't have let Caruso walk for nothing. That was a horrible mistake. Who makes the payments on the team? Right? The reason we let Caruso walk is because Genie didn't want to pay for the tax and give him what he was worth. It's not on the GM, it's on the owner. Right? And again, we don't know what the conversation, like, how do we know Rob Pelinka didn't go to Genie and was like, hey, like, we really should keep Alex Caruso, and Genie's like, I don't want to pay him what he's worth. Right? One person writes the checkbooks. Right? So let's hope the Nuggets aren't the first seed. Any comment on how Austin Reaves played D against SGA tonight? Yes, he was fantastic. Can you just be serviceable? Slide your feet, play great. I've dove into this a couple times. in this live stream, but to kind of like touch on it, yeah, Austin Reaves was fantastic. Again, I don't need him to be elite. Just be serviceable. Just hold your own, right? Just don't get torched every possession. Are you going to get beat on occasion? Yes, it happens, right? But can you just not be targeted game in and game out? Let's see. Braun isn't taking a pay cut. Oh, it's to Jaden. Like I said, one can dream. Summer League, Paul George was prime LeBron. Let's get real though. The man, the myth, the legend. Let's see. The Knicks were healthy. I'd have them a Boston too. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I really do. I really do like. I really do like the Knicks healthy. I think they're tough. Turn on the ball magnet. He kind of exaggerated, though. Cam was good defensively at the Stars. Cam was fantastic early in the season. Didn't mention how bro literally just came back from injury. Cam Reddish was very good defensively early in the season. Let's see. Anunoby is more realistic. I genuinely believe that that's like his floor. I think worst case scenario, he'll be a premier 3-and-D guy in this league. Again, think of how many guys. Think of how many guys had started. Yeah, he literally has a one. Was back in 2011. Don't you think that benefits Max Christie? Again, I'm not saying that he like lock him in. He's going to be a top, but like we're not talking about Paul George being like a top 5 guy in the league. Like, has Paul George ever been a top 5 guy in the league? Has he ever even been a top 10 guy in the league? Like, I'm talking about a guy that's like he could be. Is Paul George a number 1 guy on a contender? He hasn't been his whole career, right? Like, I'm talking about a guy that like he's a guy that can, be your second best player on a contender. Something like that. He's 20. He just turned 21 years old. Let's not act like he's 30 here. Let's not act like he's 25. Do you know how many players in the history of this league have looked like they were just complete lost and then just eventually hit that moment and they're stars? And again, I'm not saying that will like lock it in Max Christie be a star, but to say that Max Christie doesn't have star potential, he does. Like, just watch him play. He has this 2-way star potential, which is that's what Paul George is. Like, who else could you compare him to that's that star talent? Like, like Kawhi is beyond that. Like, who else? Like, Jaden McDaniels is a role guy. Like, who's the guy? Right? Like, think of how many elite small forwards there are in like the modern NBA. There's very few and far between. Right? Like, we're in an NBA where it's mostly guard and center driven. Right? Like, all the top guys are guards and centers. There's very few like elite small forwards. Like, name me a small forward I can compare him to that's a star. Right? Like, again, Paul George didn't leave Fresno until he was 22. That's what I'm saying. He had a head start. Literally, he had a couple years. Paul George is a unicorn. Are you one of those, Andrew? Are you one of those Paul George is my goat? Is that what you are? Are you one of those Paul George is my goat guys? But that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about a smaller Paul George. Right? Paul George, like I said, I've mentioned it every time. I don't think he'll be as good as Paul George because he's not 6'8" with like a 7'2" wingspan or whatever it is. talking about like the skill set, the versatility that Paul George provides, his ability to defend multiple positions, to hit difficult shots, to be able to hit in the mid-range, hit from the three-point line, hit in the pull-up, finish through contact, be a legit three-level scorer, a top two-way wing in this league. I think Max Christie has that potential. Let's see. I hope T-Wolves tire out Denver to the point where they get weak. That would be lovely. Problem is they won't play them till like very late. Clippers versus Nuggets would be interesting. Yeah, Timberwolves, they just match up well. I think Jokic has the best offensive prime ever. I mean, it's not really that far-fetched. It's not really a super hot take, if I'm being honest. Like, I mean, the dude's just, I mean, he's a one-man offensive system. He really is. But PG is a legit unicorn, what he turned into. Paul George is ridiculous. I love Paul George. Dude, you can make an argument Paul George is like I'm talking about just small forwards, right? Not all time guys. I'm talking about just small forwards. Like, how many small forwards in the history of the league have been better that you can make an argument for are better than him? Right? Like, guys that come to mind are like LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, Larry Bird, and then like who else? Like, I think you can make an argument for like anyone else. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting somebody off the top of my head, but like you can genuinely make an argument Paul George might be a top 5 to at worst top 7 small forward all time. Like, I'm talking about like primarily played small forward their career, right? Paul George has had seasons where he played shooting guard but he's looked at as like a small forward, right? Paul George is incredible. But again, I'm not like, who can I compare Max Christie to that is a legit star level two-way wing? There aren't any. Like, this NBA is like ravished by the prototypical 3-and-D guy and then an elite guard or an elite center. Like, that's all the top teams. That's what they all have, an elite guard or elite center. Like, we don't, like, there's very few teams that have like that legit, like, this guy is an elite 3, right? Like, there's very few of them. And so to think that like Max Christie can't be at like, 6'6", good frame, once he develops his man body, him having the tools and being like that weapon, Paul George is a unicorn because yes, he is 6'8", 6'9", athletic, everything. I don't think Max Christie will be that because I don't see him magically growing 2 inches. But I think Max Christie has a ton of upside and potential, like genuinely. I think to think that a 21-year-old kid who has shown legit flashes to the point where many people are screaming for Max Christie to be like a key piece in the rotation and even start in year 2, like that's bodes well. That's a good position to look at. Let's see. If you want to say it's all Genie instead of Rob, I don't mind. Whichever it is needs to go. I don't think I don't think it's all necessary. Like, I'm sure Rob is. I mean, you can make an argument like Rob should push harder and stuff, but again, like your boss tells you no, like what are you supposed to say? Nah, F that. Like, again, you can only do so much. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something to me. What time is it? Oh shoot. I should start wrapping it up here. Actually, I think I am going to wrap it up because I need to start scheduling stuff and getting things ready for mañana because it's getting late. But anyway, I'm going to skid on out of here, everyone. I appreciate y'all. Great conversations as always. Like I said, whether we disagree, whether we agree, we love the conversation. I do. I love these little back and forths. I love our little debates. I love when we're all like, that's the beauty of basketball, right? Talking smack and agreeing on some stuff, disagreeing on others. Oh, that was a good stretch. But you guys are awesome. I do. I appreciate all of you. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Everyone that gave me super chats, thank you so much. Seriously. Also, if you haven't liked the video, take a quick second, hit the like button on your way out. Huge win. Sacramento, man. I swear to you, if we lose to Sacramento, I'm going to lose my mind. Lose my mind. We have to beat Sacramento. Have to. Like, we have zero, like, we have to. But anyway, again, I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And yeah, I will see you guys. When do we play Sacramento? We play on what's today? I don't even know what day it is. What is it? Monday? Play on Wednesday? Wednesday. See you guys Wednesday. Let's get it. Let's win it. Let's make it happen.